Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I got a little woodworking project that I want to do today. This is something that I've been thinking about for some time, and honestly this is a perfect time to do it because it's not really a good day to be out doing things out and about because one, it's really hot right now, but we're supposed to be getting some more rain today. And while we need that, it isn't that kind of limits you doing outdoorsy type things. But there's something here, like I said, I've been wanting to do for a while, and let me show you what that is. Now, this is my kitchen table here. It's been with me for quite some time. It used to be in my house in California. I actually didn't use it in the kitchen. I used it in the dining room in California, and it was mainly just a place I stored things. I'm actually using it for, as its original purpose as a kitchen table, but I've had it for a while, and it's got some discolorations and a little wear and tear on some of the finish and stuff like that. And so I've decided I kind of want to refinish this. It's a beautiful table, and I want to get some more mileage out of it. It's still in really good shape, except for the fact that the surface is a little rough. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing out in the garage, and we're going to sand all the finish off the surface of it. We're going to restain it and re-polyurethane coat it. And I think that'll make this look really nice, and hopefully it'll last for a long time after that. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to figure out exactly what the color is, because I want to try and match the color exactly. And so it turns out that the table separates in the middle, and there's an extra leaf that you can put in here. So I'm going to take the leaf with me to Home Depot, and we're going to try and match the color with a stain so that we can make this look nice. Because like I said, I'm not going to refinish the sides of it because the sides look fine. You know, they don't get the wear and tear. It's just the top that needs some help. And that's going to be our project for today and maybe the next day or so. So let's get going on this. So yeah, this is that extra extension leaf that goes in the middle. And basically I'm just going to bring this with me to Home Depot because this is going to be a lot more convenient than bringing the whole table or even half the table. So let's go to Home Depot, find some stain, find some polyurethane coating, and we're going to go from there. Alright, I'm back from Home Depot, and this is the stain I got. Now, like I said, I brought this piece along with me to Home Depot, and they have some little chips of wood that are painted with each of the different stain colors here. And when I held the table up to the chips, this golden pecan seemed like the right color. I know in the label it seems like it's a lot lighter than this is, but that's okay. You know, what we want to do is get close. I may not nail the color exactly, but if it's a little lighter or a little darker, it's going to be fine. I just want it to kind of look like it belongs with this, like not that I took a kind of this color on the side and then go like a really dark or really light on the top. I just want it to look close and look like it's the same thing, and I think this is going to be pretty good. So the next thing I got to do is go at this thing with an orbital sander and sand off all the old finish and all the old stain. Get it back to the bare wood, because otherwise we're just going to be staining over the existing finish, and that's not going to look good. So that's going to take a while. I'm going to probably hit it starting off with 110 grit sandpaper and try and get it all nice and smooth and make it look nice, and then we'll be able to move on to the next step, which is applying our stain. So yeah, the 110 grit sandpaper is actually about the right level. I don't want to do too coarse of a sandpaper because then you'll start gouging the top, and you don't want to do too fine of a sandpaper because it'll take forever to eat this all off. This is what I've done in about 5 minutes, and yeah, it's going to take a little while to get the whole thing, but look at that nice wood under there. That's going to look great. has passed now, and I got pretty much all of the stain and the previous finish off. We got it all back to bare wood, so it looks pretty nice. The wood is actually a hardwood, so I'm pretty convinced it's like oak or something like that. It's heavy like oak, and has some real nice grain to it. So this is going to look nice when it gets restained again, and that is the next step. Now I'm going to do something before I do that, before I stain, in order to make the to kind of open up the pores. What they recommend you do is put a thin coating of water on it, and that causes the pores to open up on the wood, and then when you hit it with the stain kind of soaks in, you get a better pattern. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a little squirt bottle in spray mode. We're going to spray the whole thing with water, and we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to put the stain on this. It's going to look really nice, I think. All right, we got it sprayed down with water. It actually looks really nice this way right now. We're not going to leave the water on there long, just a minute or two, just to allow it to soak in a little bit. Then we're going to wipe it off, and hopefully, like I said, that will open up the pores and allow the stain to really get pulled deep into the wood, which is going to create the beautiful pattern. So there we go. I'm going to let that dry for a moment, and then we're going to dry it off by hand, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the stain on it. Alright, so I'm going to start applying the stain. We're basically just going to kind of go with the grain of the wood. So the wood is kind of going this way on this little segment. So I'm just going to kind of get a nice coat. Make sure we're getting the stain going into all the little cracks and crevices here. And just want to, you're not really even trying to get an even coat at this point. You're just trying to get it on there and get it covering every little drop of it, every little spot of this wood here. Now with stains, the longer you let it sit, the deeper the color will be. So I want to try and get it looking really, really nice and really, really deep and rich and all that. So we're going to actually put this on here. We're going to let it sit for a little while. And we may even do a second coat depending on how it looks after we wipe off the first coat. So I'll let you know I'll let you see what the final thing looks like in a couple minutes, and I'll see you then. All right, that's the first coat of the stain. It actually looks really nice, and primarily right now because it's still wet. Now I'm going to let this soak in a little bit to really get the good color, and then as you have to do with stain, you have to wipe the stain off. And that'll really show us what it looks like. And at that point, when we see that, we'll decide whether we're going to do another coat. But I think it looks all right, pretty good right now, right? Okay, I've wiped off all the excess stain. I gotta admit, this looks all right. I don't think I'm going to need a second coat. The color is almost identical to what was there before. So, yeah, I was a little concerned that the image of what it looked like on the label wasn't going to look like what I was seeing, but looking at it on the little chip of wood there in the store, I think we nailed it. I think that's almost the exact color. It's going to go great with the sides. So we're going to let this dry a little bit. Sometimes what happens with this is after you let it dry for a little bit, some of the stain that got soaked into some of the pores will kind of ooze up to the surface a little bit. So I'll probably have to wipe it again. So we're going to let it dry for a little while. And I think this might actually be the end of today's video. I think we're going to come back tomorrow and put the finishing coat, putting the polyurethane coating on it, and we'll give it 3 or 4 coats, maybe more, make it look really, really nice. And I think this project is coming along well. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.